May 29th, 2014. 32 tracks. November 9th, 2023. 96 tracks! Holy shit! The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass just wrapped up recently, and now that it's over, I thought it would be a fun, cool, and definitely non-controversial idea to rank every single track in the game. I'll be ranking them based on how fun they are overall, the quality of the map, the creativity, and the music. This took so much time out of my life. But you know what? I don't care, because I think the world deserves to know what the definitive Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track ranking is. So, let's begin. Please subscribe. Can we please just take the clown makeup off for a second and admit that Toad Circuit is not a good track? It's so unbelievably boring to play this track. There's like one glider section. That makes me ask why? Why is it there? What's the point? It serves no purpose. You just glide for 3 seconds and oop, back to the sad reality of Toad Circuit with N64 quality grass. There's one jump shortcut that requires a mushroom and another one at the end that requires some level of skill to dodge the pipes. But besides that, why is this in Mario Kart 8? What made Nintendo think that this track would be a good idea to add to the first wave of the pass? Who watched the February 2022 Direct, saw Toad Circuit, and said, "Wow, where's my wallet?" They had so many better options for a 3DS course, Daisy Hills, of all things, Shy Guy Bazaar, any of the Woohoo tracks, Wario Shipyard. But no, basic starter track with giant toad floaties. Good job, Nintendo. What did they do to you? My first Mario Kart was on the DS, and I loved Sky Garden there. Playing it in Deluxe? What the hell? What? I don't recognize this place at all, and it's not for the better. First of all, why do the clouds look like... well...
Welcome to the
Putting the clouds aside, what I can say is the track does look aesthetically pleasing. I like the little airships you can see in the background. But that's really the best compliment I can give this track. The leaf shortcut feels very inconsistent. The track overall feels very cramped and very linear. And why include this glider section? I know this is probably my first controversial choice of the ranking, but personally, I don't like how they massacred my boy. Before I talk about any of the tour tracks, I just want to point out that I am very uneducated when it comes to these historical and famous landmarks. Except one, because I play Overwatch. But knowing them by name has no effect on how the overall track is, so I don't care, and neither should you. With that said, I don't like Amsterdam Drift. The music is not my cup of tea. It wins the award for the worst second lap in the entire game. You know how janky the steering is when you're in the water sections? Yeah, let's pour salt on the wound and add a paper-thin section that's totally made for 12 racers and make like 5 super sharp turns and a pipe speed boost that nobody asked for. The third lap isn't great as well. Reaching the end, the track just goes all over the place. Feels like I'm just zigzagging at the end. I do like how they made every Tour City track different and unique by changing the paths every lap. But Amsterdam just doesn't hit the spot. Sorry, my fellow Netherlands folks. We've reached the part where I have no feelings for these tracks whatsoever. I don't like them, I don't dislike them. With that said, Sherbetland is mid! It's mostly just drive through this very open and slippery ice skate section, dodging some penguins and freezies. The underwater sections of this track are significantly worse than just taking the regular route, unless you're very much in the lead or you just like looking at jellyfish. The music is pleasantly nice to listen to. Sounds like something I'd play at 12 AM on December 1st. It's not an insulting course, more like a forgettable one. It's crazy to me how many 3DS tutorial tracks they've added to this booster course pass. First Toad Circuit, now the track where you spend half your time just aimlessly gliding in the air. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. The only good thing Rock Mountain has to offer is the pretty cool section where you're climbing back the mountain, dodging these huge boulders. The cave is okay. The music is also okay. Overall, the course is okay. I remember playing Mario Kart with an old-time friend of mine, and I asked, "Hey, what's your favorite track?" He said Bone Dry Dunes. Our friendship deadass nearly concluded there. I'm not even joking.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill.
I will admit that this is a skill issue on my part, but man, do I hate how bumpy this track is and how many sharp turns you have to make. The anti-gravity section is kinda cool, and I love getting eaten by dry Bowser.
What did he say?
The dry bones inside add some difficulty, and it's a difficulty I gladly accept. There's like one shortcut at the end. Bone Dry Dunes would have been 1 or 2 tracks lower, but it got saved by how interesting the environment is. I mean, look at the ship drifting through the sand. That's neat. And the music. God, the music. Music appreciation time? Yeah, the music slaps. Bangkok Rush. I'm a little mixed with this course. My highlight would be the first lap, driving through the water and tricking out of these small rafts. This is one of the few tour tracks that has more than one path to take. You can take the high stairs if you want. You can not bounce on the tents if you want. I'd question why you wouldn't want to, but you have the option. The music is again not my cup of tea, but I can imagine there's people who enjoy it. And I appreciate how much culture they include in this track. Overall, it's alright. It's a SNES track. What do you expect me to think about Donut Plains 3? Well, the music is alright, I guess. I also like the incomplete sections of the bridge. It adds some level of memorizing the track to make sure you're not on the wrong side. That'll make you plunder into the water, which isn't the worst thing, to be fair. The Monties are a fun addition. It's a pleasant track to gaze at. Overall, it's a SNES track. There's not very much room for a retro SNES glow-up. You know what I think when I hear the word Tokyo? A beautiful night sky surrounded by buildings like New York City. Except this New York City is 10 times more epileptic. And before you ask, no, I don't believe in daytime in Tokyo. That's a myth. Nevertheless, this track takes place during the day, and hey, look, there's Mount Fuji. See, I know some famous landmarks. The track itself, it's a city track. That pretty much sums up what I have to say. There are some shortcuts here and there, and I like the third lap drifting around that bridge. Other than that, it's as basic as a basic city track can get, which is a shame because for a city like Tokyo, it had potential.
That's what the kids call epic fail.
Greetings, fellow Americans. Do you know how hard it is to grab a cup of coffee with the same hand that you're holding your bread? There it is.
Hello, Governor. Welcome to London Loop. I'm a fan of the weather selection in this track, making it almost completely overcast and adding a little bit of fog to it. Again, it's a city track, so expect it to be pretty linear. But I really liked what they did with the chain chomps this track by making them try attacking you at almost every corner and even letting them all loose in the final lap. There's even one wreaking havoc in the river. I did not notice that before recording the video. That's funny. Again, the atmosphere, we see Big Ben, this one famous bridge that I'm too lazy to look up the name, and yeah, alright track in my eyes. Finally, a Snowland that's seizure-free. This is a pretty good remake, all things considered. They changed a lot when it comes to the layout, my favorite being the one slippery turn you have to make while dodging the sliding penguins. The road is so glossy and icy and shiny that it's almost distracting. Shortcuts are good here. There's this really good one you can do in 200cc that I personally can never pull off. The atmosphere is pretty neat. The music is a joy. Overall, like most GBA courses, Snowland got a pretty nice glow up. The Eiffel Tower is pretty cool. That's the only great thing I have to say. To be fair, this is one of the best sunset atmospheric tracks to look at. And yes, it's better than Sunset Wild's Sunset Atmosphere because, oh, I'll get to you later. This is another rare city track to be not as linear as most city tracks due to the fact that there's many different paths you can take. The biggest one being the decision to either take the shorter path, trying to dodge these pipes, or take the path going under the Eiffel Tower. I prefer the Eiffel Tower path because I like the Eiffel Tower. Lastly, you can't help but admire the switch up on the third lap, reversing the track. A really neat and beautiful track music, and atmosphere-wise, I love it. This is the weakest Rainbow Road in the whole series. I really hope that's not a hot take. While it's not bad, the music here is super underwhelming, and the difficulty that Rainbow Roads are known and iconized for has been butchered in this Rainbow Road. So you're probably wondering, what are the good things in this track? Well, I do like the concept of traveling from space station to I almost said PlayStation. Jesus. From space station to space station, that's neat. I like the two-way section at the second half of the track. My favorite one being the bottom right because halfway you can just jump onto the other one halfway. Like every Rainbow Road, the road is pleasant to gaze at. Overall, it is the weakest Rainbow Road, but it may be a favorite to like 5 people. So here's the thing about Toad's Turnpike. It is very, 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 very frustrating to race at sometimes. Especially for someone like me who mostly just plays online. The amount of shells and bananas you have to avoid along with the incoming traffic, especially towards the end, it can be very overwhelming at times. You may just say, Jojo-kun, just use the convenient anti-gravity parts of the track. To which I will say, fuck you, that's lame.
Fuck you.
Putting my skill issues aside, the track is very beautiful to look at. Wow, I feel like I'm just repeating myself for every track, but that's because it's hard for a Mario Kart 8 track to look unappealing. Although I do prefer the N64 version of the music, it's still a good song that can easily space you out for hours and make you think hard on life. I have a lot of respect for Toad's Turnpike, but if it ever gets selected online at 200cc, I'm just gonna close my game and switch to Animal Crossing. Desert courses tend to not be liked by the community, and with tracks like Desert Hills and Yoshi Desert, I don't blame them. People also dislike Dry Dry Desert. I'm not one of those people. I like how spacious the road is. The pokies pose a pretty challenging threat at the start. I like the quicksand at halfway mark. I always change up whether or not I go around it or descend a little bit to drive straight. And the oasis is, dare I say, refreshing to see in a desert course. Get it? Refreshing.
Will you shut the hell up? Get the hell off me!
And the music. Oh baby, the music. Time for another music appreciation time. Unironically slaps so hard for a desert course. It's a shame this track lost a few of its charm from the original, for example the sandstorm and whatever the hell this thing is lurking for prey at the bottom of the quicksand. Nevertheless, it's a track I wholesomely enjoy. Well, it's a Mario Circuit track, that's for damn sure. It checks all the marks for a Mario Circuit. Daytime, happy vibes, giddy music, grass. Is that an Ultra Hand from back in the day when Nintendo was a toy company? This is a Mario Circuit track that works, and you know what? That's all we could really ask for. I have nothing else to say. This is a basic ass bitch course. New York. The city of never-ending traffic, the greasiest pizza known to mankind, and most of all, Rats. Why am I talking about this when it has nothing to do with the New York Mario Kart track? I don't know. I just wanted to vent about my hatred for New York. I've never been to New York, by the way. This track does a pretty well job taking you on a journey through the city that never sleeps. Takes you through a nice looking park, some sussy-wussy advertisements, and again, I don't know famous landmarks, so I'll just call this place the Great Movie Museum Place thing. And while listening to some nice jazzy tunes, it's an above average city course. Sunset Wilds was one of my most wanted GBA courses to make its way to the Booster Course Pass because I think the music is very fitting and charming, as well as the fact that I'm a big fan of this track's main gimmick. You see, even back in the Game Boy Advance, this track's gimmick is how the sun sets further down as the laps go by, even to the point of the sun setting completely, revealing nighttime. They even did this with the Mario Kart Tour version. It goes straight to nighttime on the second final lap. So I thought to myself, imagine how even more beautiful the environment would be in 8 Deluxe. It would be amazing. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined and shattered when I found out that no, we're gonna disable the one feature that Sunset Wilds was known for. Nintendo never fails to disappoint, I swear. With that out of the way, the track layout wise is decent. I like the Diplodocus footmarks as well as the Shy Guys just having a good time, just vibing outside their tents. I'll sum this track up with a quote from my boy Sub-Zero.
Such wasted potential.
I feel sorry for the people playing this track in June. Unironically, one of the most jolly courses out there, Merry Mountain really makes you feel like you're on a Christmas adventure. From climbing up the highest peak of this festive mountain to riding down with Santa.
Fuck them kids, bro.
My one complaint is that this is one of the few tour tracks that feels very tour-like, if that makes any sense. Anti-gravity drifting at the top of the mountain feels very weird, like someone just rubbed butter all over the floor. And while I did say the journey down the mountain can be fun and engaging, you can literally just hug the edge of the track and hold the A button for like 20 seconds, grab a snack, come back, and congratulations, you made it to the bottom in one piece, with your placement not changing one bit. Yippee! I have one question for you guys. Go in the comment section right now and let me know if you're Team Green Path or Team Yellow Path. While you're down there commenting, you might as well subscribe. I mean, you made it this far, you clearly enjoy my content, and I'd really appreciate. Okay, I'll go fuck myself then. I really like the concept here. Taking the right path could prevent you from being harassed by potential shells or any other projectile if the other racers decided to take the other path. Neato! Alongside the challenging shortcuts and banger music, it helps this track stand out as an underrated gem. By the way, me personally, I'm Team Green. Wow, 3 ice/cold themes back to back. That's funny. Anyway, Sky High Sundae is like a diabetic person's wet dream come true. It is deliciously appealing to look at, and it is one of the most fitting musics in the game. Unfortunately, just like Merry Mountain, this track suffers from Tour syndrome when it comes to the steering. Super clunky when trying to drift, especially with that U-turn near the end. And the layout is the most mobile game built looking layout in the entire game. Fortunately though, just like every narrow oval shaped track in the game, playing this track on 200cc is a blast. You're literally floating half the race. Easily one of my favorite courses if I ever decide to get drunk. This is indeed a water park track. I like the anti-gravity section, interacting with the water park rides and witnessing the W wheel after emerging from the water. Music is very tropical feeling, as you'd expect, and it's an overall good water starter course in the Mushroom Cup. Like every GBA track, this Boo Lake looks completely different from its original counterpart. For starters, there's actually a lake this time, and even better, you can drive in it now. The environment is very unsettling as it should be, and the music certainly doesn't make it any less unsettling. Just listen to it. so scared. Greatest GBA remake as always.
No.
This is that candy go-kart game over by the whack-a-mole.
Seriously, I can't not think of that one Wreck-It Ralph game when playing Sweet Sweet Canyon. Which isn't bad because who doesn't like racing through a diabetic themed course? Everywhere you look is just candy. The road, the dirt, which is chocolate, the water, which is syrup, soda. I'll let you guys be the judge. Even the music feels candy-like, if that makes any ounce of sense. Overall, one of Nintendo's more creative and well-executed tracks, which is only ranked a bit lower because of the simplistic track layout. Wild Woods. Theme-wise, I enjoy it. You're traversing through trees, driving past this base Shy Guy tribe, which leads to my favorite part, the water stream taking you down. It's fun aiming for the water, getting you a speed boost, then the boost from these lily pads passing the Smurf tribe. And hey, we're back to the start. It's a very creative track, and combining that with the good music makes this course a great course for nature enthusiasts. Piranha Plant Slide is just World 1-2, but awesome this time. Seriously, the structures inside the pipe, the brick forts outside, and the music referencing modern day 2D Mario cave levels is really nice. The track itself is one of the harder ones if you're not that good at steering. Piranha plants pose a good threat throughout the race, especially at the water section where steering is more inconsistent. And the glider section at the end is just chef's kiss. Ah yes, the track that inspired Nintendo to title the game Mario Kart 8. Can you guess what inspired them? This is a really satisfying Mario circuit, all things considered. The drifting is very smooth and the atmosphere is very trippy, because you're upside down half the race, and just seeing all these shroom buildings and the castle itself upside down while racing is very mesmerizing. The music? Well, it's a Mario circuit music. I expect it to be happy themed. Overall, I give this track Mario Circuit out of 10. The concept of racing across a giant cruise ship is such a stupid idea, and it works so well here. I love it when Mario Kart changes the previously dangerous water areas to become accessible now, because water is good now. You can swim with the Goombas now, that's fun. Passing through the drifting furniture, the corridors are a little bit too narrow for my liking. So why not just plummet down this hole, which has now turned into this sea aquarium featuring drowning. A much needed track during the summer this year, and I'm happy they brought it back. You know, replaying Super Bell Subway for this video, I had no idea that this track had so many different routes. It's crazy. You can be an NPC like me and just take the regular narrow ground level track and pray there's no incoming trains. You can drive up a higher path, ignoring what hell awaits you down there. You can do the same thing again, but somewhere else. Super Bell Subway is a very chaotic course, and for a Mario Kart game, that's all we ever need. The music is pretty mid, but hey, at least it's a good track. This was the most surprising announcement in the whole Booster Course Pass, for I think everyone. Despite how forgettable Rosalina's Ice World was on the 3DS, it was pretty refreshing to see and play this in Deluxe. Visually, this track has one of the biggest glow-ups in the entire game. It's so lively and colorful and beautiful to look at. And as a cherry on top, the track is a real treat for Mario Galaxy fans. Look, it's the Comet Observatory, and look, it's a Gateway Galaxy. Such lovely inclusions. The music is what you'd expect from a joyous fantasy snowland, and the track itself really nails the theme. And just like that, Rosalina's Ice World has moved from the most forgettable 3DS track to be added to a more magical, delightful fan favorite now, which is good. Good for you, Rosalina. The original SNES Rainbow Road. This track aged pretty well in my eyes. Looking around, you can see that you're actually not in space this time, rather just high up in the sky. High up in the sky! As well as the swamps and mountains being on crack. I like how Nintendo made this track as authentic and difficult as possible by not adding any safety edges at all. So if you get a speed boost and your drifting is completely off, too bad, you're off the map. Sayonara! As usual, it's a SNES track, so expect a simplistic track layout with one shortcut or two. But that's never a bad thing, I don't want to give the wrong idea. This track is very fun, all things considered, and the music? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's time for another music appreciation time. Peak! Saying the words Choco Mountain is enough to make any Mario Kart veteran shit their pants because of the trauma they had going through this track on the N64 and even the DS. But I am happy to announce that we finally have a playable version of Choco Mountain. Originally, this course suffered from Wave 1 syndrome, but thankfully had a major visual change later down the line. The track itself had some pretty good significant changes as well. The biggest one being the glider section at the end of this cave that didn't even exist in the original. The boulders, while I don't think it's even possible to get hit by them, I tried. I'd rather have them here than to not have them at all. The fog is a nice touch and the music is very hillbilly-like. It sounds like something Old Man McGucket would listen to on a Sunday afternoon. Overall, grateful for this track's inclusion. What a gorgeous ass track Daisy Circuit is, man. From the statues that prove that yes, Daisy X Luigi is indeed a canon event, to the beautiful sunset, to just how lively the town looks. Generally one of the few Mario Kart tracks that I'd consider living in. The music puts a smile on my face by how romantic and cheerful it is. It's a really simple track layout wise, the biggest feature to me being the double roundabout, but I don't care. Even if the track was just a simple line, the music, the vibe, the ambience, hard carry this track, and I'm overall glad they decided to include this in the past. Every time I see Neo Bowser City, it reminds me of Bowser Land from the 3DS. It's just a pretty unsettling feeling that the King of the Koopas is in control of this huge futuristic city. What is he plotting? Putting Bowser lore aside, this is one of the more unique tracks out of the 96. The rain is a very nice touch for this cyberpunk looking environment. The music is literally Toad's Turnpike but made by Daft Punk. And the track itself is every 200cc enthusiast's worst nightmare. There are so many sharp turns with no safety edges, resulting in impending doom if you choose not to slow down. So this track is pretty up there with the more difficult tracks, but hopefully its difficulty doesn't distract you too much from the very aesthetically pleasing futuristic city. Hey, it's the place from Finding Nemo. It's been a while since we discussed a Tour City track, and to be honest, City Sprint is not so different from the weaker ones I've discussed previously. It's a very linear track, you traverse through several buildings and famous landmarks, and I'm very unengaging when it comes to them, blah blah blah. But Sydney does have a few standouts, and it's not just the music, even though the music does slap harder than my father on report card day. Nintendo went a bit further to really immerse you into the culture of Sydney. Some examples being the trains and the abundance of sailboats at the docks really shows you how lively Sydney is. The daytime setting also suits the track pretty well. Overall, a pretty faithful, vibrant city track. What an absolute entrance to one of the greatest racing games of all time. Mario Kart Stadium checks all the marks for a great starter course as well as a taste of what's to come. It has everything: triumphant music, a brilliant introduction to anti-gravity, gliding, soaring through the fireworks, and fist bumping the helicopter dude. Quite possibly, the perfect and best Mario Kart starter track in the whole series. And with all that said, it's just good. It's getting really hard trying not to repeat the same thing about every Tour City track. And if I'm being honest here, Berlin Byways, I've never seen a track get carried so hard by its soundtrack. Speaking of which, music appreciation time! Oh, baby! At the time of this recording, I know it's not November and all, but goddamn, I'm about to fail because of this music. With that said, I mean it's a Tour City track. As a bonus, at least I know this is the Brandenburg Gate. I'm not caught up to date with I'm not caught up to date with Brandenburg Gate lore, but it's a pretty cool gate, and I like its faithful recreation in this track. Voice crack. And for the people who want to dox me for not recognizing their favorite monuments in the previous tracks, I'm sorry, but Brandenburg Gate solos. Let's get this out of the way right here, right now. If you were allowed to look around Peach's Castle like the original N64 Royal Raceway, this would easily be the #1 track in the game. I don't care what anybody says. But guess what? We can't access it anymore because Nintendo does not like taking W's. Ever. And I hate Nintendo. I gave Nintendo $85 total to play this game.
Shut up and take my money!
Now that that's out of the way, I truly can't tell what time setting this track is in right now. Sunrise, sunset, I don't know, but it's very gorgeous. Royal Raceway is just a nice trip around the castle, you know? Racing through these cherry blossom trees, I just call them anime trees, and a ramp that soars you through these hot air balloons. The whole track and music is just a good vibe, confetti everywhere, and it seems like everyone is just having a good time in this course. Really nice. We all love GBA glow-ups, and Riverside Park is no exception. Honestly, one of my more requested GBA tracks because I thoroughly enjoyed what they changed in Tour. One of the more relaxing feeling courses. Riverside Park really nails the natural jungle park feeling as you race across the rich forestry, dodging Patuis, which by the way, it's always good to see Patuis. Including Patuis automatically makes this a great course. You then enter this dark cave and end things off with a jump through the waterfall, like we're in a fucking Fast and Furious movie.
Thing about street fights, the street always wins.
And when you add the beautiful sunset and music, it just sums off this track as a good one for those who feel like becoming one with nature. A very cool and fond memory I have as a kid is when my dad used to buy me these third-party Wii games every other month or so. And while some of them were very mid, there were some that just hit the spot. And me and my brother played them for hours. I miss playing games with my brother. I miss my childhood. I miss not having responsibilities. Anyways, one game that Dad bought us was called Kawasaki Quad Bikes. It's a fun casual bike racing game that I would recommend, but the crazy part of this game lies in this one particular racetrack. I'm going to show you a part of this beach track, and you're going to tell me if you notice something. Let me show you again. If you said to yourself, hey, doesn't the first half of this track really resemble the first half of Cheap Cheap Beach? Then congratulations! You found out that we live in a small world. Now every time I race at Cheap Cheap Beach, instead of immediately thinking of the original DS track that I also played as a kid, I instead think of that one shovelware game on the Wii that so happened to just copy and paste a piece of Cheap Cheap Beach. Alright, story time's over, let's finally discuss the track. The music is very tropical feeling and I love driving through these tropical bungalows. Yes, I had to Google what they call these houses. The beach itself is very pretty. I don't know where Cheap Cheap Beach is, but as a Jamaican, our beach is pale in comparison to how blue and lively the ocean is here. The vegetation at the end is a nice touch and this track overall makes me feel both very nostalgic and very jealous. I can already hear you nerds mashing the keyboard in the comment section saying, how in God's name did Mario Circuit 3 surpass some of the greats like Cheap Cheap Beach and Neo Bowser City? It's just a boring ass vanilla flat like my ex track. And I kinda understand, but please hear me out. I truly respect this course's inclusion because despite not having any cool jump tricks or pretty much any features that the series has brought to the table for the past decade or two, this track is living proof that you don't need a fancy layout, stunning visuals, or anything, really, in order to have a great time racing here, because the track is just as chaotic and fun like any other track in the game, and its simplicity makes it really refreshing and impressive. I promise you, you guys are sleeping on Mario Circuit 3. Moo Moo Meadows. This track is definitely something. My favorite change to this remake is easily the change from broad vanilla daylight to a beautiful sunrise, just ready to take on the world and to milk some udders. Another reason why it's my favorite is because it's pretty much the only noticeable change, really. The cows are still a pain to go through in this version. The music still sounds like a bar fight waiting to happen, and the layout is very similar, with an exception being the new glider section. It's the same Moo Moo Meadows we all know and love, with some fine adjustments. Also bonus points because growing up I loved its inclusion in the Sonic Mario London 2012 game thing. I forgot the name of it. Twisted Mansion is what I consider to be the quintessential spooky track of the entire Mario Kart series. I was really hoping that Luigi's Mansion would make its debut in the Booster Course Pass, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized, wait, why the hell do I want Luigi's Mansion? We already have a better Luigi's Mansion already. How is Twisted Mansion better, you may ask? Well, in simple terms, I think it nails and hits the theme out of the park. The theme has you driving on the walls, driving through an underwater section inside the building with fish bones swimming by, spirit statues trying to squash you like a pumpkin near the end, and the music accompanies the track really well. What does Luigi Mansion have? Mud. Ooh. Dragon Driftaway is a very punishing track for those who have not quite gotten the hang of drifting yet. And for those who know how to drift, it's still considered to be one of the most difficult courses in the game. Of course, for you Mario Galaxy fanboys out there, myself included, is my favorite game of all time, it must have been a treat for all of us to notice that, hey, this dragon resembles Gobblegut. We can't talk about Dragon Driftaway without the music, and I'm not talking about the main soundtrack, although that is pretty good. I'm solely referring to the track intro. Listen to it. I get these goosebumps every time when I listen to it. Solid track. Pardon my absence of Zelda knowledge, because like most people, I think, were Zelda virgins until Breath of the Wild. Nevertheless, I can see a lot of passion and heart went into making Hyrule Circuit. From the natural fields to the sheer size of the castle, hell, they even changed the sound effects when collecting an item box, and even the coins have been replaced by rupees.
Come back when you're a little, richer.
Some Zelda enemies have also been implemented, such as the Skyward Sword piranha plant things. I don't know what the hell you call them. And whatever they call these bats in the game, truly one of the Zelda tracks of all time. Still a little bit salty that it was an Airship Fortress instead, because it's not like we already have enough Mario themed courses in the game already, and for those who say Airship Fortress got its time to shine in the 3DS, I respectfully suggest you go fuck yourself, because Airship Fortress is so good it deserves to be in every Mario Kart installment post-DS. Anyways, you'll never guess what this Mario Circuit looks like. What if I told you that this track environment is very reminiscent of Toad Circuit, and the track takes place in the day, and that Peach's castle can be seen, and there's grass.
For the love of God! For the love of God!
I swear the only saving grace is that I seriously enjoyed the change where they made after the tunnel section, completely changing the environment to a more Mother Nature feel. The music is also a bop with a capital P. I know I have my bias hatred towards this, but I can't deny you that you will have a great time playing DS Mario Circuit. God damn it, justice for Airship Fortress, man. The dirt is so glossy, it angers me. Now that my one complaint has been addressed, I really like Waluigi Stadium. Tell me, what do you imagine a stadium based off of this guy would look like? If you said a destructive dome with giant piranha plants as flat and fake as plastic cheese, fire spinners everywhere, casino music, and total mayhem, then congratulations, you know a serial killer when you see one. The shortcuts are a neat addition, requiring you to use the janky as all hell Mario Kart 8 half pipes. Overall, thank you for giving me insomnia, Waluigi Stadium. Good stuff. Okay, so get this. We make this track an oval. We had an abundance of tricks to jump out of. We had some shit stains here and there. And to tickle your nostalgia boner, we'll base it out of the classic Excite Bike game. Doesn't that sound like fun? Admittedly, yes. Generally can't think of a way to be descriptive with this course because it's an oval with tricks and shit. I will say this, however, when you're racing on a small Mario Kart track with a simple shape layout, you must mentally prepare to feel the pain because it's chaotic.
Welcome to Los Santos.
First things first, what did they do? Why did they massacre the LA Laps OST like that? What happened to the choir? What happened to the ba 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 ba? I still haven't recovered from that, if you couldn't tell. But putting that aside, say the line, Bart. It's a city track. Yeah. However, you should all know by now that a city needs to now stand out from the rest of the others to make it this far. And I would say that it gets the job done here. It's not every city course you get to soar through a baseball stadium. And I enjoyed the vibrant atmosphere, whether it's you strolling through the beach, the pier, a construction site. LA Laps is good. It feels very weird talking about Toad's Harbor just after discussing LA Laps because despite them being based off of two completely different locations, it kind of feels the same. Bright sunny day, innocent as all hell environment, buildings. There are a few things I enjoy slightly more, however. For starters, since this track is in the base game, it looks much more polished and pretty. The music is great, it makes you feel like taking on the world. And the anti-gravity section, having you driving and tricking off of buildings, is fun. The cable cars are a nuisance, but when you perfectly drift between them and the edge of the road, it's just a magnificent feeling. All I can say is San Francisco is slightly better than Los Angeles. Okay, so remember Excite Bike Arena? How about we remove the trick ramps, make the oval significantly smaller, add anti-gravity to the entire track, make the atmosphere much more obnoxious and distracting, and screw it, let's make it 7 laps. And congratulations, you created a track that quite possibly may have killed 5 people in real life. The music is like taking energy drinks. It's good at first, but then you drink more and more and more. Your heart starts pumping faster. You feel like the world is going 2.5 times faster than usual. You feel like you're going insane. And that's just music. I don't know if this is a controversial take, but I believe that Mario Kart 8's Baby Park is the most chaotic, even surpassing Double Dash. While 8 lacks chain chomps and Bowser shells, Double Dash lacks 200cc, custom item selection, and the fact that the whole track is anti-gravity, so any of the 11 other racers you bump into turns into a speed boost. I swear, have a couple drinks with the boys, play this track on 200cc, enable spiny shells and bullet bills, chances are Baby Park will be the reason you don't have friends anymore. But hey, it's just a theory.
It's just a theory.
Wait, a Tour City track? That doesn't look like a city? Nani? At least the course itself doesn't take place in a city, more like a trip through a dilapidated part of history. You drive through Pantheon, slide across the theater of Dionysus, and yes, between you and me, I had no choice but to Google the names of these constructs. The pacing in the track is great, the music is very adventurous, and overall I like the unique spin on a city course. Good job, Athens Dash. I like it when retro tracks change up the course so much it damn near doesn't feel the same as the original at all. And Wario Stadium is a perfect example. I had to YouTube what the original track layout looked like because the anti-gravity section and the underwater parts of the course completely changed up the original. For the better, I would say. Because the changes they've made are far more memorable, difficult, and enjoyable. The atmosphere is, of course, more engaging and immersive along with the mayhem music. A pretty good globe for one of the more underrated DS tricks. See, I knew the Thwomps had some lore attached to them. The idea is pretty, intriguing, to say the least. You traverse through this abandoned-looking temple themed after the Thwomps. So it's themed after rocks. Gotcha. I like the booby trap rock wheels that are set up nearly after the beginning, but I can't say that I've ever got hit by them. Ever. I enjoy the ample amount of routes they allow you to take. You can ride on the wall. You cannot ride on the wall like a degenerate. You can submerge underwater or take the glider section on the final lap. The whole track feels like an adventure, and the music sounds very natural with a pinch of Indiana Jones. And it's just an excellent end to the Mushroom Cup. I don't like cheese, but I do like Cheeseland. This is a track that perfectly puts anti-gravity to good use. It feels like you're on a roller coaster the whole time, taking so many slippery turns, dodging the chain chomp and cheese blocks that really slow you down. Also, can we admire the background environment in this course? Especially the landscape of the cheese world near the end. There's a giant rock in the form of a pizza, that's awesome. Also, you should have seen this coming. You know what time it is, music appreciation time. God damn, I love GBA retro tracks. Except for Snowland, you're pretty mid.
You guys all think you're so much better than me.
Oh, Meg, that is the least fancy thing I have ever heard.
Back on the Wii, this track used to strike fear into my baby's soul, but now I have chest hair, which means I'm not scared of this course anymore. I can also appreciate it now for what it is because, wow. First off, I couldn't think of a better time setting for this track than a beautiful sunset lighting. It really makes the track pop. The track's layout is pretty great as well. First traversing you through the outskirts of the mine, which, by the way, does anybody else heart sink when they take this deep dive here? You then enter the mine itself, but not before getting bombarded with bats that have costed me a race 1 or 2 times. No kidding. The implementation of anti-gravity and the minecart section is also pretty brilliant, making you get a speed boost by bumping into the carts. Ending things off with exiting the mines from one of the 2 sections you decide to take, and a cool little ramp trick that surprisingly not too many people know about. A track that I look forward to playing whenever popping in this game. Vancouver Velocity. You know, I never thought that Canada was such a beautiful place until I played this in Deluxe. But this track pops with its subtle lighting, whether it's the Bright City, the Olympic Cauldron, or the Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis!
I love the winter theme surrounding this course, the cabins, the beautiful park, the ice skating ring. It's all so pretty to look at. My favorite part of this track is by far the first lap, taking you through the trippy bridge section that leads you to a gliding section, giving you this breathtaking sight of the city alongside this one ship. Man, this track makes me want to live in Velocity. Deadass. Back-to-back beautiful, vibrant nighttime city courses. Honestly, Singapore Speedway and Vancouver Velocity can be interchanged, but I gave Singapore the edge due to it feeling much more authentic and faithful to the actual Singapore. When you're basing a track off of one of the biggest and most expensive countries in the world, you have to really show it for it to stand out. Thankfully, they made it happen. The track takes you all over the place. The tippy top of a building with Goombas just vibing in the water with their floaties. How cute. Soaring you through the skies with these rings that give you a speed boost or water sprouts that you can trick out of. Takes you through a Chinatown that changes the very futuristic, electrifying music to a more subtle and just Chinese feeling music. The lighting is gorgeous, and overall I just can't believe how beautiful this track is. Animal Crossing. Bro, they did not have to go this hard on a track based off a game for grandmas. They didn't need to replace coins with bells, mushrooms with oranges and peaches, NPC Toad and Koopa audiences with Animal Crossing icons like Rover, the Able Sisters, Daddy Tom Nook, even Rossetti being an obstacle. And if you thought things couldn't get better, guess what? In true Animal Crossing fashion, this track has 4 different versions based off the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Winter being my personal favorite due to the town looking more lively in that version. The track itself is also very nice, taking you through town and a beach. My favorite part of the track is driving past Tom Nook's shack. You can hear his theme, you know, his ba 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 ba. Greedy bastard. That's awesome. I love it. I love Tom Nook. greedy bastard. The music is very cozy and tropical feeling, but we can't talk about this track's music without mentioning the end results theme based on Brewster's Cafe. I can listen to this music and look at myself in 12th place for hours. Just clear my mind, man. This track is goated. I had to look up where Madrid is. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But, man, I want to go there now in real life, man. Seriously, this track looks so civil and nice, and I like the several buildings that we drive through. The city square full of toads just enjoying a nice cup of coffee, and this adorable wiggler taking a nap. This painting gallery, which, come on, man, you could have included at least one Mario 64 painting. But at least this elusive piranha plant painting is pretty cool. A freaking football stadium with Goombas kicking the balls with Goomba shoes, a nod to Mario Bros 3, and wow, the crowd in this stadium did not have to go so hard chanting the music for this track. Overall, what a beautiful town and a beautiful final city course from Nintendo. I swear, Nintendo never misses with Donkey Kong themed courses, and DK Summit is no exception. What a genius idea of a course, man, starting with blasting you to the top of the summit, making your way all the way down, while also tricking off snow clumps in the janky but fun nonetheless half pipes. You also need to avoid these big snow clumps, bottomless pits that takes notes from N64 Yoshi Valley, and these shy guys at the bottom just having a good time. Just don't run into them. The biggest change from its original Wii counterpart is definitely the change from a Mario statue to a DK one. Because a Mario statue just made so much sense, doesn't it? DK Summit is a Wii icon that I'm really glad they brought back. I feel like this is confirmation that we will never get another F-Zero track again. And as unfortunate as that sounds, at least we can all agree that the series will be remembered fondly thanks to a Mute City track that's not in a F-Zero game. I often wonder why, because the F-Zero mechanics that have been implemented to these tracks are so cool. Uncontrollable speed, coins that have been replaced with these pit stops that fills up the coin gauge, one of the most creative implementations of the anti-gravity mechanic, gorgeous scenery and music that just makes me want to go on a training montage. I mean, come on, Nintendo. If you're gonna add 2 legendary F-Zero carts, a F-Zero cart and a Captain Falcon Mii costume in a Mario Kart game, just make a damn F-Zero game already. Maybe if we all collectively keep playing F-Zero 99, they may reconsider, but until then, Mute City will have to suffice.
Hey guys, Ender here. So Jojo is taking a nap in my basement, so I'll take over for this part of the video. So obviously, Tour Rome Avanti really hits me home, cause you know, it's my home. So of course, as soon as you start, Altare della Patria is right there, it's a beautiful monument. As you keep going, you'll go through the Colosseum, but everyone knows that one. After exiting the Colosseum, you also drive through the Campidoglio, which is actually what's represented behind the 50-cent euro coin of Italy. You can also see the Bocca della Verità at a certain point of the race, and although it's not accurate to where it's actually placed, I think it's a really nice touch. Then in the second lap you drive up the Piazza di Spagna staircase, which was really nice to see. Just for it to be followed by you driving right next to the Villa Borghese Lake, which was a very surprising pick. You can both fly over Trevi's Fountain, that's a little bit more famous, but also over the fountain of Piazza Navona, which was really a nice touch. And you also race next to what I believe is Teatro Marcello. I'm not really sure because it's not really with the same detail as the rest of the track, but I'm gonna include it anyways. In the end, I would like to conclude by saying that the atmosphere of the track is absolutely amazing. You're running in the night, surrounded by the warm lighting of Rome with a beautiful track in the background. So obviously, it's a 10 out of 10.
I don't know what all that was about. Rome Avanti is the worst track in the game. I know there are a lot of better Wii courses that were inevitably going to make it in the Booster Course Pass, but I was most excited for Koopa Cape, which is strange because I wasn't really a favorite of mine as a kid. Probably because I sucked. But now I'm a huge fan of Koopa Cape. The idea is just so cool, from driving down those strong river streams to plummeting down the water tunnel that really makes you feel like you're in one of those tunnels that's an aquarium. Absolutely astonished by the marine life down here. The pipes, the coral, the cheeps, even the eels. One complaint that I'm obligated to talk about is the fact that on the Wii version, there were also water streams down at the water tunnel as well, and these spinning electric bars. They added a fine level of difficulty and added more character to the course. Then Koopa Cape returned in 7, completely butchering everything down there. Stream, the electric bars, gone. And I thought to myself, maybe they were removed due to the 3DS hardware limitations. If Koopa Cape ever returned to 8 Deluxe, I really thought they would make the water tunnel more reminiscent of the glory days. But nope. Nope. Can't have good things in life. Instead, they added a small half-pipe section. Wow. Thanks. With that said, Koopa Cape is still a fun track with a nice track layout, beautiful scenery, and music that can brighten and cheer up the most depressed of human beings. Essentially, this is Koopa Cape's older and more serious sibling. Piranha Plant Cove takes place at nighttime, and this time there's no tunnel that protects you from the dangers of marine life. I must say the environment is very unique. It's a very tropical looking island that at one point looked like it was ruled by a tribe, but are now inherited by piranha plants and piantas. Lots of dilapidated temples with statues resembling the goat himself, Petey Piranha. And of course, since most of this track takes place underwater, the marine life down here really pops with broken down ships, vibrant coral reefs, cheap sheep, scuba diving toads, thwomps, and of course those damn eels swimming above you and trying to nab a quick snack. Also, not related to this course at all, but answer me this question in the comment section below. Which Mario eel traumatized you as a kid? Was it 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, Odyssey? Just curious. Anyways, back to Piranha Plant Cove. I normally hate underwater courses, but I really enjoy this one, and this would have been an excellent starter water course for Mario Kart 7. Take notes, Cheap Cheap Lagoon. The tried and true Yoshi circuit. You really can't go wrong with including this in every future Mario Kart. Just a very fun island in the shape of Yoshi. Yes, they removed some shortcuts from the original, and yes, they removed some of the charms, such as the Yoshi helicopter. But even with those removed, it's just a very lively and exciting track to race around. My favorite thing to do here is look around and seeing how this track resembles Yoshi. For example, this shaded red roof resembles his back, the small town being by his feet for some reason, and this very curvy and round turn is, you guessed it, his very curvy and round nose. You get the idea. Alongside the pretty scenery that surrounds the island, such as the lighthouse, the helicopter that still should have been the Yoshi helicopter, I don't know why they couldn't just do that. You can always ride all over Yoshi and have a good time. The more I continue this ranking, the more I realize that, wow, Mario Kart 8 really did the unthinkable and made underwater courses fun. Look no further than Dolphin Trolls. You swim with dolphins, you can take different paths using these air pipes, you can ride on a ginormous eel. Oh, the jazzy hype music as you emerge from the waters gliding past the whirlpool, it's so good! The environment is so vibrant, the layout is unique, this is a peak water course, God! The genesis, the origin, the patient zero of GBA perfection. And no GBA Mario Circuit doesn't count. Because unlike GBA Mario Circuit, I seriously wouldn't believe you if you told me that this track is from the Game Boy. They changed Ribbon Road so much here. You've essentially shrunken down in this room that clearly belongs to a toddler, and you're racing in his or her track, their castle, their battlefield. And as you drive along, you can't help but notice the abundance of nods to the Mario Kart series. So many toy carts in this room that are based off the ones we all know and love in this game. For example, the Biddy Bug, the Teddy Kart, the Standard 8. Easily one of the best environments in the entire game. You're dodging Mecha Koopas, you're dodging Pop Go's Koopa clown heads for some reason. The audience are the Toads from the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. And is that a Yarn Yoshi? I know I'm missing many other clever appearances, but damn it, I'll discover every nook and cranny when I'm playing this course. At some point. I like how this track is on the more challenging side of things. I'm obviously referring to the wavy ribbon road section because you can easily lose control and fall off. It's just a very good course, man. The Red Dead Redemption track, Calamari Desert. Can we talk about the lighting and shading in this one? My god, what a sight to behold. On paper, this is a pretty simple track layout-wise. You drive in this pretty linear track trying to avoid the infamous 64 train. You have a few small ramps to trick from, and there's even some glider ramps. That's all fine and dandy, but what really makes the track stand out is the switch up on the second lap. You actually have to drive on the train track and into the tunnel. Pray to God you don't come across the train because you have very little room to squeeze through. I find this decision really cool because while you could have gone through the tunnel in the original, it wasn't part of the track layout back then, so I'm glad to see this implementation in the deluxe version. It helps give the track more character. That's not to say this track would have lacked character without this change, because again, the theme, the lighting, the iconic music, it all adds up to a memorable and fun track. It's considered the best GameCube track for a reason. You also know it's a good course because it's the Donkey Kong standard. DK Mountain is a journey and a half, starting by ascending to this DK Barrel Blaster, and if you consider that ascending, then I want you to take your definition of ascend and throw it in the trash and set the trash can on fire. Because this Barrel Blaster takes you all the way to the highest peak of this angry volcano, leaving you with one task: make it back in one piece. You would think that would be easy, but no. You're dodging barrels, you're dodging these giant boulders tumbling down the mountain, and yes, they pose an actual threat unlike a certain set of boulders in a certain track. You're scraping through the edges of the mountain, which they definitely nerfed this one shortcut that was on the Wii version, but thankfully it wasn't removed entirely. Last but not least, you have to cross this very intimidating bridge, which again, thankfully they removed the safety side rope. I was praying they didn't just copy and paste the bridge from the tour version. And you get to do this all over again. Twice. Isn't that fun? Also, can we take a moment and just admire the view from up here? So pretty and big, and we're so small. On top of the very exotic music, DK Mountain never fails to disappoint when it comes to its difficulty and overall track design. One more thing. Let's see how long it takes for someone to recreate the iconic bridge scene from Wii.
Not very much room for a retro SNES galore.
I can't believe this. I'm stunned. I'm speechless. How did they transform this simple SNES course to such a complex, scary, and legendary course? I started playing Tour again at the time they released this in Tour, so I got a first-hand experience for this course, and there's a reason why I predicted this would come to 8 Deluxe on Twitter. The booster course was lacking a Bowser Cast course, and I just thought Nintendo would be foolish not to include this in the final wave. I was really wondering if GBA Bowser Castle 4 would make the cut instead, because that also got a remake the same time SNES Bowser 3 got one. And it's also a really good recreation showing you the result of the bomb explosion from the original. But I'm glad they stuck with this Bowser Castle. Let's talk about the music first. Music appreciation time! You know that one Smurfette gif where she's transforming into Goth Smurfette? That's literally me listening to this music. The track itself reminds me so much of Bowser's Galaxy Generator from Bowser Castle 2 as well. Just a perfect use of anti-gravity driving and tricking off this wall of boiling lava. The overall layout is awesome. The narrow walls you can trick at the top of. It's a welcome challenge. You encounter dry piranha plants. I just can't believe this is based off a SNES course. I have so much respect for this track. It's just awesome. I love it. 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 Probably the best glow up in the entire game. Hey look, it's a better New York minute. Alright, let's get this out of the way because you know it was coming. Music appreciation time. So electrifying, I love it. The track itself takes place at a high altitude city, which first lets you drive along the beautiful outskirt with speed boosts you can trick out of if you bother to climb up the steep hills. This part also exposes you to a beautiful full moon. as you dodge the incoming traffic, especially those wretched bomb cars. As you dodge the incoming traffic, especially those wretched bomb cars, you then enter the city getting bombarded with bright lights, advertisements, and more bomb cars. And you speed into the city using the speed boost. You then enter a dim tunnel where even more bomb cars await your demise. Can you tell I hate the bomb cars? As much as I adore this track, I really doubted this would have made the cut for the booster course pass because, well, we were getting at least 2 tour city tracks every wave, and I thought Nintendo would just forget about Moonview Highway. Thankfully, they too acknowledged that this is a great course and added it anyway. And although I was a bit worn out from all these city courses, I will always show my love and appreciation for my favorite city course.
Hey, so it's 3 in the morning right now and I'm editing this video. And there's just one more thing I want to talk about Moonview Highway. It's kind of like not an Easter egg, it's like a fun fact. Let's go with that. On the Wii, when it's going through the course intro, during the final part of that intro, you can see that the person in 12th place is about to get run over and crushed like a little bug. That's all. I just wanted to show you that someone fucking dies on the Wii version. This video is taking nearly 2 months to finish. Please end my suffering.
Yeah, Nintendo really nailed the country family road trip feel when making Shroom Ridge. The setup is just so pleasant. Sure, you can say it looks like a simple track layout with less obnoxious cars. You would be right. And unfortunately, this track also suffered Wave 1 graphics syndrome. But come on, man. The music. It's music appreciation time! Yeah, it's a bop and all, but what if I also told you that half this track takes place on a road cliff? Not only is it pretty to look at, it's also pretty challenging with how narrow the road gets towards the end. You have to squeeze through cars very frequently. Overall, Shroom Ridge is just a jolly course to race on if you feel like getting out the... As amazing as it was to see Coconut Mall in Wave 1, I think it's safe to say that Ninja Hideaway was the real highlight of the first wave. It was really cool seeing Nintendo pump out new courses just for this booster course pass, and Ninja Hideaway was just a small taste for what's to come later down the line, where, obviously, excluding you, Sky High Sunday.
Back to it.
This was also one of the more polished out courses upon release, unlike the other Wave 1 tracks. It felt like a base Mario Kart 8 track with how excellent the lighting is here. The course itself is genius, giving you the choice of either racing at ground level or taking the high ground pretty much the whole race. It makes you feel like you're infiltrating a dojo with how the layout has a stealthy feel to it, as well as the track being filled with booby traps such as puncturing giant spikes and Shy Guy ninjas that just poof in front of you out of thin air. The music! Easily one of the best soundtracks in the game, and for that reason, you know what time it is. Truly an outstanding course. Mushroom Gorge is one of my favorite Wii tracks and one of the more interesting ideas of a course. It takes place at a mystic looking mountain surrounded by giant mushrooms. This track is good. This track is so good that it got added as a retro track in every future Mario Kart, starting in 7th, then Tour, and finally 8 Deluxe. And, you know, putting my nostalgia aside, 8 Deluxe is a clear, definitive version. The environment has more flavor to it now. They've added a lot of more character and personality beyond the track. You know, you can see more mountains and mushrooms far away. They also provided a much more vibrant and lively mushroom cave. Just look at the crystals, man. Truly eye-gazing stuff. The layout itself is a blast. I just want to quickly mention that if you willingly choose this boost section path instead of the bouncy mushroom path, you're most likely a virgin. With that out of the way, it's just a good time here. Bouncing on mushrooms, soaring through the beautiful cave as you bop to the awesome music. Overall, a Mario Kart classic that is welcome in every future Mario Kart, in my opinion. can't say I'm surprised that Peach has such a flamboyant looking garden. It's honestly a really cool concept. Playing this on the DS and Wii as a kid, I thought it looked pretty as it was on those versions. But in 8 Deluxe, they really cranked up the beauty of this track. It's not just one type of flower scattered across the entire garden anymore. They've added all sorts of colorful flowers, such as roses, and the track itself is much more polished. The layout also changed a bit, removing random patches of flowers that were considered obstacles previously, and although doing that made the track more simplified, I'm not losing sleep because of its change. I questioned why they were there in the first place, and quite frankly, I'm more upset about how they simplified the roundabout section at the beginning. Whatever. It doesn't take away how fun the track is exploring the garden and avoiding the loose chain chomps. The real highlight of this course is of course how they switched up the final lap, making you finish the lap by going backwards. This is a first in a mainline Mario Kart game, and it was a surprising treat to everyone considering Nintendo did not mention this at all until release. I really like the glider section at the third lap, just watching the chain chomps from above and admiring the bush statues. Which, by the way, why is there a Luigi Bush statue but no Mario Bush statue in your own garden, Peach? After all the bullshit he's been through to save your ass. This is just another one of the many reasons why Daisy is the superior princess. SMH. Anyways, fun course. Easily one of the best from the DS era. As someone who actually played Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, you can imagine how happy I was seeing how DK Jungle had so many references to that game. The track itself was made by the same developer company who made Country Return if I'm not mistaken. By doing this, it gave the course a lot of character and replaced a lot of the standard Mario enemies with the ones from Country Returns. The best example being the replacement of Goombas with the Tiki Goons as you drive past Donkey Kong's house. The Golden Temple has also been featured here, giving you a pretty cool anti-gravity section. It also features a giant banana. Nice. Exiting the temple, you're greeted with the harmless but cool to see screaming pillars, alongside the banger Donkey Kong music. DK Jungle is just a great jungle course. A faithful callback to the game that saved the Donkey Kong series, and just a course that lives up to the Donkey Kong course standard. What do you get when you turn a busy and professional location, like an airport, into your own playfield? A phenomenal track, of course.
Good job!
I really like the creativity of Sunshine Airport. The iconic airport window showing off all the parked airplanes outside. The advertisements of other Mario Kart tracks like Jar Jar Desert and Sweet Sweet Canyon are really clever. You can even see more track destinations on the departure board before leaving the building and entering the actual aircraft. Tricking off bell conveyors, trying to dodge the boxes. You're driving underneath airplanes, through airplanes, lifting off under airplanes, and descending back to the airport like you're an actual airplane. Wow! Music is very giddy, and I just adore how immersive this track is. It's really good. Yeah, the Mario Kart 7 developers actually coped with this one. Whoever's idea it was to implement the track layout into the music, I really hope they got a raise. Music Park has so much personality with a capital P, man. The piano, the xylophone, the drums, all the instruments as you drive on this course adds a little flair to the already banger music. It's so good, even the piranha plants are headbanging to it. Look at them go. Even the music sheet rails make a special noise when you bump into them. And the chunky music notes that with the assistance of the track music beat lets you trick off the ground when they bounce. It's so genius. The atmosphere is electrifying, the instruments you see playing in the background, it's just so good, man. Easily the best 3DS course in 8 Deluxe. Tick-Tock Clock. The level I couldn't beat in Mario 64 due to it being too hard for me as a kid, transformed into a track that I love and savor every second of it. Seriously, what's there to hate about it other than this one shortcut that I can never pull off? The whole track is just a pleasant ride, consisting of gears, clock hands, pendulums, name anything a clock has, it's in there. And the clock makes clever use of all these items in the course, like tricking off the clock hand. The gear is changing from clockwise to anti-clockwise, making it constantly shift from left to right. My personal favorite, the two gears at the end of the track. One pushes you forward, even giving you a trick boost, and the other ruins your entire mood. The music also has a few clock charms in it, and where do I begin with the environment? The entire scale of this huge clock you're inside, I like the blueprints of the clock. It all just adds up to be a fun, joyful track, and a pretty major glow up from the original TikTok clock. Good stuff all around. It's no N64 Bowser Castle, but it's still up there as one of the best Bowser Castles. I don't know how they do it, but you can always rely on Bowser Castle to provide a killer edgy tune. The track itself is very intense as you would expect from a Bowser Castle. From tiny stone Bowsers that try to melt you with lasers, to dodging fire spinners, a huge spike ball, to is that a giant molten Bowser that punches the track, changing the terrain of the chosen path and potentially squishing you like it was nothing? Yeah, this track does not pull any punches, no pun intended. As if you thought you were safe after exiting the castle. Oh, no. You then have to try dodge lava sprouts and giant boulders before you relive the nightmare entering the castle again. This track is all I could ask for in a modern Bowser Castle. Great use of the anti-gravity section, killer music, having to stay on your toes the whole race. Easily top 3 best Bowser Castles in my humble opinion, if I do say so myself. I am still not over Nintendo refusing to bring back the net bridge, but its exclusion does not change the fact that Maple Treeway is a beautiful and exciting course to race on. Where I live, I can't experience auto. I've never cannonballed into a huge pile of leaves before. I've never had the privilege of witnessing the beauty of every tree turning orange, but at least I can experience it here in all its glory. Especially when I purposely charge into the leaf piles, potentially getting a mushroom as a reward. That's nice. Maple Treeway really nails the natural autumn feel with all the wigglers moving around, traversing from tree to tree, the music that puts a smile on my face, and what I believe to be the key part of this track, the lighting. Overall, just a track that makes you wish it was autumn every day and everywhere. Now bring back the net bridge, you piece of shit. I know I've said this multiple times by now, how this track has the best use of anti-gravity and all, but I will confidently say this. Shy Guy Falls has the best implementation of anti-gravity. You drive up and down a damn waterfall, for Christ's sake, that's awesome! The environment is also charming to look at, from the hard-working Shy Guys in the middle of construction, to the lush vegetation up the mountains, and back to the minor Shy Guys jamming to the music. Who said Shy Guys can't sing? I'll give them the spotlight in this music appreciation time. If these silly little creatures don't get a Grammy Award, I'm revolting. The more I take a look at Cloud Top Cruise, the more I question Sky Garden's existence in the game. Because this course is just the superior Sky themed track. For one, the clouds actually look like clouds this time and not milk. The Bowser ships are a great addition, maybe a reference to Mario Bros 3 airship levels, but I'm not too sure. You're then blasted into a stormy cloud that if you're not careful enough, you'll get electrocuted by lightning if you take a risk trying to get a speed boost. Do I even need to mention the music here? Seriously, do I? It has Gusty Garden Galaxy in the mix. That's amazing, and probably my personal favorite thing about the course. If a course has anything Mario Galaxy related in it, it automatically gets bonus points for the tier list. This is common sense. So add Gusty Garden to an already creative and phenomenal Sky course. Boom! Boom! You have one of the best tracks in the game. I don't care if you're a retro GBA track that was once good. If you ever plan on making Sky themed courses, take notes from Cloud Top Cruise. Hands down my favorite track to race at 200cc, with blue shells being the only item turned on. The uniqueness of Yoshi Valley obviously comes from the various paths you can take. Seriously, there's like at least 6 paths to choose from. And as cool as that sounds, unfortunately there are some paths that are just the definitive faster path, which in my opinion, left bridge and right seems to be the fastest for me. But hey, if you're way in the lead and you feel for a challenge, you can always take the coolest but easily the worst route, the cannon route. Yeah, Yoshi Valley loses most of its charm once you memorize all its paths and you just stick to the one you prefer from then on. But hey, once you make it out the maze, however, one sharp turn later and you come face to face with a T-Rex Yoshi. The name also does not lie. There's a Yoshi head statue, plenty of other oddly huge Yoshi eggs, and hey, There's even a handful of Yoshis cheering on in the race. Go fuck yourself! The sunset lighting was a good choice, the music is very rodeo-like, and overall I'm glad to see them return Yoshi Valley from the N64 and polish it up to make it less frustrating and punishing when you fall off the track. Because man, falling off the track in the original was like falling into the bottomless pit from Gravity Falls.
This is stupid.
I've always had an appreciation for the more seriously toned Mario Kart courses, and Grumble Volcano just speaks to me. Literally hell on earth in a Mario game. That's funny. You traverse through this rocky volcanic wasteland that at one point takes you inside a volcano and through the outskirts. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, the biggest feature is how, lap by lap, the track becomes more and more unstable, making the layout much more narrow and much more dangerous. To make matters worse, the volcano begins erupting fireballs, disrupting your path and hurting you if you happen to touch it. But wait, there's more. Fire snakes start appearing, blocking even more of your path. And while this is happening, you're listening to this very ominous music, which gives you a somewhat rush feel, like there's not much time left. Really good stuff. If I had to describe Grumble Volcano in one word, fucking terrifying. Electrodome is just Music Park if the park was made by Deadmau5. They nailed the nightclub theme here. The monitor showcasing all the Mario enemies just vibing and having a good time. Just look at them. Look at the piranha plants. Did they eat a star? The track itself is incredibly mesmerizing. You have these off-road sections that have been replaced with glitter, I think. The anti-gravity section is top-notch, driving on the walls, leaving a digital-looking trail behind you. The choice to take either the pink path or the green path. I always take the pink path because pink is better than green, and I'm more of a guy than a guy. After that, it glides you to the party itself. Look at everyone having a good time, man. And look at me sitting in my room by myself, making this video alone. Anyways, I'm not a nightclub person, but when it comes to Electrodome, I'll be there. Behold, the most out of left field course in the entire Booster Course Pass, and they hit it out of the park. We live in a reality where we are playing a Mario Kart game, driving through a humongous bathroom with implemented bathroom objects such as a sink, a bathtub with bath bombs, faulty skibbity toilets that takes you to a more elevated part of the track, you name it. Squeaky Clean Sprint is one of the most creative and perfectly crafted courses in the entire game. The environment is almost like Rainbow Road. You really want to look around and see every detail that surrounds you. I mean, come on! Come on! You drive down the bathtub gutter, which, by the way, rest in peace to the guy who dropped this ring down there. Dirt has been replaced with sticky soap, the thriving happy music. There's a rubber ducky with a Mario hat. That's adorable. It was perfect. Perfect! Down to the last minute details.
You just got Coconut Mall.
I mean, come on. It's Coconut Mall. I literally do not need to say anything more, but I will because I need to be fair. While I do prefer the more chaotic Wii version of this track, I do prefer the more vibrant colors here. The Wii and 3DS's versions, colors are just so pale in comparison. The 8 version also lacks the Mii audience, unfortunately. But you know what? It makes up because of, again, the lightning. I said lightning. The lighting, it also feels like they gave the mall more character by adding things such as the wall art that heavily resembles the original Super Mario Bros. And the eye-catching advertisements. I remember when Wave 1 first released and everyone was theorizing saying Vanilla Lake and Dino Dino Jungle would return due to there being advertisements of said tracks, and I honestly believed it. At least I believed Dino Dino Jungle because, well, Vanilla Lake sucked.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
But back to the track itself, not much has changed. It's the same Coconut Mall we all know and love, or hate, severely. Also, thank you Nintendo for updating the cars at the end so that they actually move and pose a threat. I don't know what they were thinking making them stationary when they released. Ba, ba ba. Oh, sorry, don't mind me. I was just pretending I was Captain Falcon there. Big Blue. What an amazing course. To start things off, I just want to mention how much I love one-way tracks. I think this is the first one I'm talking about. It just makes the entire track experience more fulfilling and unique. Every lap is different and adds new challenges and paths ahead. It's just a really good feature. With that said, studies show that playing Big Blue every day can boost your testosterone level dramatically with the sheer masculinity this track shows off. The amount of speed you gain in this track. Have you seen the time trials in this track? You're going so fast you can skip entire sections of this race. Skipping entire U-turns in the first lap. The one and only ultra shortcut in this game, and with the help of speed you can do it with ease. Ending things off with another pink versus blue path, seeing the finish line up ahead, holding the A button as hard as you possibly can. The slippery sharp turns you have to make, coin pit stops are still here, the environment looking both futuristic and exotic. Oh god damn it, Nintendo, please hurry up and make a new F-Zero course already! Not a course, a game! Make a new F-Zero game! For fuck's sakes! You know the retro track is so good, you have to use that track as the cover of your new Mario Kart game instead of one of your Nitro tracks. And since we're talking about N64 Rainbow Road, I mean, can you blame them? Just look around you, man. The fireworks, the majestic looking train providing you coins, the clean drifting you pull off here, the trippy as all hell chain chomps giving you opportunities to trick off the ramps when they bounce. Honestly, the most magical looking track in the entire game, and it's not even close. Some may complain that this is a 3-lap track, but me personally, I don't mind. I wouldn't want to do this 3 times. As good as it is, that's too damn long, man. How does it feel, Wario? How does it feel to know that you have the best snow-themed course in all of Mario Kart? Mount Wario is quite the amazing journey, starting with jumping off a motherfucking plane. Yeah, you heard me. A plane! Starting you off at the very peak of the mountain, slowly making your way down as you go through sharp icy turns, a cave, driving across a dam with the help of anti-gravity, a section full of trees that are so difficult to dodge you easily lose control of your own speed here, but I welcome the challenge. The track ends off with a layout built like a ski race as you take a lot of zigzag turns, tricking off the many snow bumps and speeding your way to the finish line as the crowd cheers you on. It's a really thrilling course, and the music really pops off at the final lap. From start to finish, Mount Wario is just a peak snow course. Thick and through. Yoshi's Island is such a standout course that surprisingly brought back so many memories I had as a kid. The amount of love for Yoshi's Island that has been added here is just so admirable and beautiful.
Sensational.
The only Yoshi game I played as a kid was Yoshi's Island DS, and I haven't touched that game in years. Despite that, I recognize almost every reference this track has brought to the table. For starters, can we talk about the beginning of the course, the starting sound, the ba 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 ba. I got chills the first time I heard that, man. That was such a cool feature. And is that Poochie I see? Hi Poochie. I wish you were in the character roster and not that abomination known as Peachette. Anyways, as you make your way up this hill, you come across some familiar faces from the Yoshi series. Stilt guys, Huffin' Puffins. You can see those massive chain chomps that mess with the terrain in the games. You then submerge into the water, entering this small castle that leads you to the highest peak of the island while also being greeted by Goonies. And dear Heavenly Father, it's the monster that traumatized me growing up. I remember asking my brother to finish certain levels in the game simply because he was there. Finally, you glide back down heading to Yoshi's house, but not before encountering one more clever feature. By successfully touching the winged cloud, a shortcut magically appears, giving you a new path with a shorter and sharper turn, tricking you into a clear stage ring from the Yoshi game. See, you can't help but love Nintendo for releasing passion projects like these. Like, it is such an amazing course, man. I love it so much. They had to do it. They just had to. I couldn't imagine a world where Nintendo would conclude the Booster Course Pass without Wii Rainbow Road. They just couldn't. Truthfully, just like DK Mountain, I was super worried that Nintendo would just copy and paste what they did with the track in Tour and just move it over to 8 Deluxe. That would have been horrible. You know why? Almost the entire track had rails, getting rid of every speck of difficulty. You know, the thing Rainbow Roads are known and iconized for. Not only was I worried about that, they also changed the course from a 2-lap which is the standard for tour, to 1! Huh? Thank the Lord that did not happen in 8 Deluxe. While it's definitely not as rage-inducing as the original Wii version, it's still a pretty challenging course. I fell off the track a couple times, which by the way, they even kept the meteor effect as you crash land into Earth. I'm so happy they kept that in. The track itself is just so mesmerizing, from how the actual Rainbow Road looks to the star bits, which is yet another Mario Galaxy reference. Best game ever. The half pipes feel much smoother here than the others. The star launcher. Look at the effects here, man. Look at the star tunnel at the end. I'm just so happy that we live in an era where we are experiencing a full HD remake of Wii Rainbow Road. I love every single bit of this track. I love it. Thank you. I love it. Yeah, you thought this was number 1, didn't you? You really thought. Well, I do see myself changing my mind between the last 2 courses almost every 2 weeks or so. I've decided to go with Waluigi Pinball for the number 2 spot. Please don't take out the torches and pitchforks yet. I still believe this is a phenomenal 11 out of 10 course. To start off, this is the most creative track idea in the entire Mario Kart series, hands down. Taking place inside a giant pinball based around Waluigi of all people. You first get blasted into this mind-controlling rainbow tube, taking you to the top of the pinball itself. Making your way down, you're primarily trying to avoid colliding with these huge pinballs. Congratulations, you made it to the bottom, which is horrible for you because pinballs are ricocheting all over the place now, significantly increasing the chances of getting hit by one of these bad boys. There's also these bouncy things that can either benefit you or just make your life a tad bit worse. As you carefully make your way through these electric poles at the end, you're back at the start. The colors really pop in this track, the music is very reminiscent of casino music, and we can't forget the custom sound effects when collecting an item box. It's an icon, it's a classic, it's a fan favorite, it's perfect, it's fucking Waluigi Pinball. It is fucking Waluigi Pinball! Though I feel like this last course is just a teeny tiny minuscule bit better, yeah. What happens when you transform the definitively greatest Rainbow Road of all time that was unfortunately held back by its hardware limitations on the 3DS to a fully fledged HD remake on a home console where the hardware can modernize the track and create the perfect Rainbow Road that it was destined to be? Ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 pick is 3DS Rainbow Road. Where do I even begin to discuss about this masterpiece, man? Alright, can we just appreciate how enchanting the actual road is? It looks like they're shooting stars within the road. It's so sparkly and flamboyant and magical looking. Next, we'll tackle the layout itself. It's a 3-section track, meaning every lap takes us on a different and unique trip throughout the unlimited beauty of space. They have turned our solar system into our own playfield. And the way they implemented some of these planets into the track itself is just so unbelievably genius, man. Driving past moons, planets, and the highlight, of course, being us driving around Saturn's rings. Such a smart idea, man. The gravity swiftly changing when you land on the moon, making you super floaty against the chain chomps that roam here. Ending things off with entering through this rainbow vortex that leads you to this section where you can either soar through space and get a speed boost from these rings, or just the speed trick ramps below, all while trying to avoid this huge asteroid. The lighting that comes from the sun in this track is just unlike any other in the entire series. It's so bright and just steals the show whenever you're facing it in the track, and that's not a bad thing. Everything about this track is just so mesmerizing and really makes you appreciate space a whole lot more. I know Rainbow Roads are meant to be on the more serious and difficult side of Mario Kart tracks, and this one is pretty lacking when it comes to the difficulty. And that's okay! It's still the magnum opus of Rainbow Roads, along with the music that has a touch of N64 Rainbow Road music included in it, has a feeling of like a journey's end. For those reasons, this is my number 1 pick. I did it. It's done. And just like that, that was my ranking of every Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track. Of course, this is one man's opinion. I'd like to hear what you guys think in the comments below, what you agree or disagree with. I know I probably pissed off a lot of you. I'm sorry, but let me have my opinions, alright? If you made it to the end, here's my entire list, a little recap for you. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends and family. If you're new to the channel, hey, my name's Jojo My Dojo. I make a variety of videos, primarily montages of video games, Nintendo games mainly. But I also make commentaries like this one and a few other things. If that tickles your fancy, I'd love to see you stick around and subscribe. It's free, and I promise I won't disappoint. But with that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.